Growing up, I would always watch PBG's Zelda Month, and ever since starting this channel, I've wanted to participate in one. But for the past 2 years, I've definitely been dropping the ball. But you know what they say, third time's the charm. And so finally, on my 3rd year of this channel, it's finally time for me to do a proper Zelda Month video. And all it took was for me to turn a Zelda video into a Pokemon video. Today, we're taking 3 of the most iconic Zelda bosses on the Switch. Ganon from Breath of the Wild, Moldorm from Link's Awakening, and Tentalus from Skyward Sword. Yeah, just so you know, I did originally think about Coloctos, but I'll be honest, I'm not ready for humanoid or mechanical Pokemon. These are our representation of the 3 Zelda games on the Switch. We'll be drawing them in the classic Sugimori watercolor style, giving them Pokemon Crystal Dex entries, general information like their catch rate, base stats and abilities, and Pokemon Crystal Learn sets. First up, we gotta start with the main bad himself, Ganon. Not the Hylian form Ganondorf, but his Calamity Demon King form. Ganon is a formidable powerhouse, being the final boss of multiple Zelda games. So how are we gonna turn him into a Pokemon? We'll be looking at his Calamity form. I don't think I'll make this Fakemon a legendary though, but they'll definitely be a powerful one with a high base stat total. Maybe more along the lines of Pokemon like Gyarados. In fact, maybe we can work with that. This Fakemon won't be a legendary Pokemon, but would still be held in high regard in universe. Or rather, would be feared because of their power and might. I of course needed to start with the basic shape of a boar. I used Taurus's GSD sprite to help me with the pose and proportions. After getting a shape I thought felt right, I started with the line art. I started with the head, quickly trying out a different angle for the head that didn't work out. I then fixed up the mane around the neck and made some final additions, notably extra fur around the hind legs. But with that, it's time to meet Clawbor.
Clawbor, the power Pokemon. When angered, the mane of Clawbor will burst into flames. Their rampages will last for 7 days.
Clawbor is a dark fire type. Dark should go without saying. As for fire, fire is often associated with the Triforce of Power, and Ganon is the embodiment of the Triforce of Power. Clawbor has a low catch rate of 45, a below average base friendship of 35, is in the field and monster egg groups, and is a fully male species. I'd imagine this could be a family with a male and female evolution, with Clawbor being all male since they're based on Ganon. Clawbor has a pretty big focus on the attack stat. As the power Pokemon, it makes sense for attack to be the highest stat, along with some great bulk to go alongside it. As for abilities, we have Hustle for Ganon being pretty impulsive at times, Intimidate for how scary Ganon can be, and Defiant to make that attack even stronger if any other stat is lowered. Now how about we take a look at Clawbor's Learn set. We of course have a good number of stab as usual. Some notable level up moves include Thrash, Fissure, and Outrage. I wanted to include some moves that have something to do with power, and these moves came to mind. Next up, we can take a look at Clawbor Shiny. The dark fur takes a bit of a greenish tint to it, and the mane also gets a bit of a greenish bluish tone. I don't have any particular reason for this color scheme. I just thought it all looked good. Finally, we can explain where Clawbor's name comes from. You could probably tell that the name comes from combining 2 words, Clawbor and Bor. What Clawbor does and what animal they're based on. Clawbor are known for their frightening rampages. Once one is set off, it takes a lot to calm them down, or even defeat them. Many studies are done to find out who has destroyed more towns, Gyarados or Clawbor, a Pokemon for trainers who truly crave power. Next up, up, we have Moldorm. Moldorm is meant to represent the Link's Awakening remake today, but Moldorm has appeared in a good number of Zelda games, usually being one of, if not the first boss you face. Moldorm has a pretty interesting design, looking almost like a snake or caterpillar with burger attributes. Please tell me I'm not the only one who thinks Moldorm looks like a burger. Anyways, as an easy boss, they'll have the lowest base stat total here. I'm thinking bug grass with how I said Moldorm is like a caterpillar. This one had a pretty clear vision going in. Moldorm has a design that could already work in Pokemon with tweaking, so that's just what I did. I did decide to make the Moldorm Fakemon a bug grass type. Because of that, we could work with the leaf-like things on Moldorm, along with some big bug eyes and fixing the pose. I decided to add some of the spikes that are on Moldorm, and with that, it's time to meet Caterpillar.
Caterpillar, the bug-eyed Pokemon. Caterpillar is very protective of the orb on their tail. They'll chase down anyone who touches their tail.
I think Caterpillar came out pretty nicely as a bug grass type. Caterpillar has a pretty average catch rate of 75, a standard base friendship of 50, is in the bug and grass egg groups for obvious reasons, and has a split gender ratio. For stats, Caterpillar is meant to be a bit of a sweeper with some bulk, with the highest stat being speed and the lowest stat being HP, and the other stats averaging between 70 and 93. Finally are the abilities. Swarm is pretty standard for bug types, but also references how Moldorm gets angrier as you attack them. Secondly, Caterpillar has Illuminate. The orb on Caterpillar's tail can shine, so that's where that comes from. Finally, for a hidden ability, Caterpillar has Anger Point. Once again, referencing Moldorm's anger as you hit them. Now, how about we take a look at Caterpillar's Learn Set. As you can imagine, for a bug type with a Gen 2 Learn Set, Stab is questionable. With grass, you at least got Giga Drain, Razor Leaf, and Solar Beam. But for bug, all you got is Fury Cutter. Enjoy. On that note, how about we just go to the shiny? Just like with Clawbore, I didn't have a particular reason for these colors. I just thought it looked nice. Finally, let's explain where Caterpillar gets their name. Caterpillar is the main bulk of the name, but turf is thrown in there in the middle. Now I will say, had I not forced myself to follow Gen 2's 10 character limit, the name would have been filled out as Caterpillar. Caterpillar are very proud of the orb on their tail. The leader of a Caterpillar colony is decided by whose tail glows the most. Caterpillar will spend hours polishing their tail orb, ensuring they're as shiny as can be, and they will punish those who get their orbs dirty. Hopefully a bug grass type who can overcome their typing. And finally is the Skyward Sword representation. Tentalus, the most popular Skyward Sword boss, right? Like I said, I did originally want to turn Collectos into a Pokemon, but I really just don't want to make a humanoid Fakemon yet, especially one that would have mechanical attributes. Maybe some other time. Anyways, Mike Wazowski and Celia's Unholy Child.
2011 called They Want Their Joke Back.
This boss got dunked on pretty hard back in the day, and then again when the remake came out. So will I be able to take this incredibly goofy boss and make them cool? Let's find out. I went for a body that looks somewhat similar to Octillery. This Fakemon would only have one eye, and then 8 small tentacles on the head that would look like hair. An idea I thought of was that instead of an actual mouth, this Fakemon would have a pattern on their face that looks like a mouth. And now finally it's time to meet Abyssal.
Abyssal, the Leviathan Pokemon. Abyssal is known to sink down ships. Their grapple is strong enough to hold down a Machamp.
Abyssal is a mono water type. Like Caterpillar, Abyssal has a catch rate of 75 and a base friendship of 50. Abyssal is in the Water 1 and Water 3 egg groups. If you're confused about the water egg groups, Water 1 is for Pokemon who could also be land dwellers, Water 2 is for fully aquatic fish-like Pokemon, and Water 3 is for monster-like Pokemon. Finally, Abyssal has a split gender ratio. Abyssal is made to be an HP sponge Sponge, with a high HP stat of 145. Abyssal's other stats range from average to below average though, especially the low speed stat of 40. Finally, for abilities we got Clear Body, Storm Drain, and Drizzle. Storm Drain and Drizzle are fitting for a water Pokemon. As for Clear Body, I just thought it would be interesting. Now, how about we look at the final learn set of the video? Hey look, there's a lot of stab moves. The main thing I want to draw attention to are the moves meant to annoy. With high HP and low offense, I thought moves like these would be fun. Fun for the person who isn't fighting Abyssal. But now it's time we also look at the final shiny of the video. Yeah, again, I didn't have a particular reason for this look. I just thought it looked good and made Abyssal look more creepy. I did that a lot in this video. Finally, let's explain how Abyssal got that name. Or at least I would if it wasn't just the word Abyssal. There are stories of Abyssal attempting to sink down fleets of ships. With the fake mouth pattern on their face, they're able to scare off predators. But on that note, it's unclear where their real mouth actually is. It's unknown why Abyssal likes to sink down ships. Some theorize they just do it for fun since they never harm the passengers. Quite the odd Pokemon to interact with, to be sure. And there you have it, folks. 3 Fakemon based on 3 of the most iconic Zelda bosses. Kind of. Clawbore based on Calamity Ganon, Caterpillar based on Moldorm, and Abyssal based on Tentalus. Which of these Fakemon was your favorite? Would you want to see more Fakemon based on a Zelda boss? Let me know in the comments below. This is my final Fakemon video of 2023. I really do like making these videos, but they sure don't seem to perform well. Entering 2024, I'm making changes to hopefully make them more fun. I'm actually practicing the modern Sugimori art style, based on the Pokemon Handbook series. So hopefully that'll make my Fakemon more believable. On top of that, I'm gonna start making learn sets based on Sword and Shield. Why Sword and Shield and not Scarlet and Violet? Cause a year ago I spent 20 bucks on the Sword and Shield Pokedex book. Have a nice day, you wonderful people!